Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Atlantis, Milo's Return. This is a sequel to the original Atlantis film, Journey Underwater. I don't know, I can't remember the name. But it was an Atlantis film, and this is a Disney original film that, the original didn't do too great in the box office in 2001. This one is from 2003. It went direct to video. It is an hour and 23 minutes long and is essentially three episodes of a TV series that never happened stitched together. You can tell that, well, the animation is Saturday morning cartoon quality for the most part. It's not the higher Disney animation feature animation level. So, yeah, I kind of expected that. Most of it, about around this point anyway, had this movie been made long ago, they would have still been making a sequel for it, because that's in the early 2000s. It seems like they were making sequels to every single one of their original animated properties, everything from Bambi to so many Cinderella movies and Beauty and the Beast and Ariel and Her Kid and everything else. All that kind of stuff was happening back in the early 2000s. This one, yeah, like I said, it was meant to be a TV series, but when the original movie didn't do too great, they kind of said, okay, well, the first one is a pilot, and let's grab the other two, we'll stitch them together and give it an ending, which is a pretty major, big, world-changing ending, and we don't get to see what happens after that. We get a nice little. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's a fairly humongous kind of thing for the world. By yeah, I'm not going to say anything else. But most of the cast returns, except for Milo, originally voiced by Michael J. Fox. He's voiced by James Arnold Taylor, who has done Marty McFly, who has played Marty McFly and Michael J. Fox in a video game. And of course, he's also the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi, among other characters in Star Wars: The Clone Wars. So yeah, he's all over this. While we are missing Michael J. Fox, we do have a different Back to the Future actor who appears in this. Tom, I've already forgot his name. Dang it! Tom Wilson. I love Back to the Future, and my brain completely blanked on Tom's last name. Tom Wilson. Biff from Back to the Future is in this, in a small role in one of the episodes. In this, when they say Milo's return, it's basically Milo's return to the surface world, and he takes Kida with him, played again by Cree Summer, and she is sort of adjusting, trying to figure out, her dad, originally played by Leonard Nimoy. He doesn't appear in this at all, but he ran things differently than she would have preferred, and she's trying to figure out what makes a good leader, why he did the things he did, and what she needs to do in order to lead her people. And they're rebuilding after the destruction and all the chaos that happened at the end of the last film, and but at the same time, she's like, I gotta go on this adventure with Milo and his friends, who've just shown up and said, hey, weird stuff's happening, and we gotta figure it out. There's a Kraken. I say Kraken. He says Kraken. Milo says Kraken. And they think it might be Atlantean, or maybe it's not. What's going on? So that first whole, and each of these, because this is an hour and 23 minutes, every episode's about 30 minutes long ish, a little less. And they face off against the Kraken and solve a mystery. It's like a Scooby-Doo mystery in a sense. It's not always pulling off a mask. Oh, it's the carnival owner or something, the guy who runs the circus or the haunted house or whatever. It's obviously it's not one of those things, but there's a mystery to solve, and it takes a number of little strange turns, and a lot of it all turns back towards Atlantis in almost every case. The second one, they find themselves in the Southwest, and they run across a number of things that wolves made of dust, and a mysterious old Native American dude who might be a spirit, who knows? And there's treasure to be stolen, and then treasure to be recovered, and some surprising things in that desert. And the third one, well, they face off against Odin and Asgard, and it's really, well, I don't want to ruin it, but it's a guy who thinks he's Odin, and but it's because he's grabbed the Spear of Destiny, which is a whole other thing in mythology. Uh, but yeah, and it drives him a little mad with power. The team has to face off with him. There's a ton of, I mean, where the world today is used to the Thor and the mythology of Thor from Marvel Comics and the Marvel MCU. Yeah, so and understand that the original mythology is so very different from the Marvel Comics. So don't expect this to mimic Marvel Comics. But for those of you who do know Thor mythology, the original and the MCU, there's references to Odin, Brunhilde, the crows that Odin keeps with him, Surtur. Looks like he shows up. I don't think they say his name, but it looks like Surtur. And Ragnarok is mentioned and things like that. So there's a number of different things that are very Asgardian in the third act of this movie. So, yeah, like I said, some of the actors are back. Of course, Jim Varney is not. I don't know if he was still alive at that point. Phil Morris returns as Sweet. Florence Stanley as Packard. And Corey Burton as Mole. And I love Don Novello as Vinny, the demolition man. Kind of, he Father Guido Sarducci from Saturday Night Live. For those of you who are old enough to remember, yeah. And John Mahoney plays Whitmore. So yeah, it's a reunion of most of the cast. Oh, and also Audrey is played by Jacqueline. I'm going to say her name wrong, but same girl, same woman playing Audrey. So yeah. Animation not as good as the original film, but that's to be expected. It's a direct-to-video, and it was meant to be a TV series, a Saturday morning cartoon kind of thing. Probably on the Disney Channel or somewhere like ABC. I have no idea where it would have ended up. It's just a guess. The actors great. The comedy is a pretty. They have some pretty great lines. Of course, I love Vinny, and he has usually most of the best lines. There's a great exchange between Milo and Kita talking about, oh, there's an ancient spear in this like curio shop in the Southwest, an ancient spear inside a glass case. And there's an exchange between the two of them discussing why it's there, and Milo explains that it's for protection. Well, I understand what the spear is for, but why isn't the glass case? And there's actually a callback later to that in the it's in the second act. There's a third act that makes a reference to it, I think, or maybe it's still in the second act. I don't know. Either way, it's a great exchange, and it's really well done between the two actors. It didn't have to be in there. It could have it could have stayed kid level comedy, but they have a bunch of good exchanges between these characters. That was surprising. It's not a great movie overall, and it feels a little disjointed because you go through three very distinct stories, even though they're supposed to be connected. But yeah, it is what it is. It's if you're a big Atlantis fan, you'll probably want to make sure you watch it, but you'll probably be disappointed. So. That's just the way it works with these direct-to-video things most of the time. So let's pick tomorrow's episode. No? Not going to say it? Did I turn the sound off? All right, 8. Come on. Come on. Oh. I've been waiting for this for a long time. And I've already checked. This had the potential to be the movie with the first F-bomb on Disney Plus. But they fixed that. Just for Disney Plus. We're going to be watching the original 1987 version. There's a 2016 version as well. Probably much more Disney. But we're going to watch the 1987 film, Adventures in Babysitting. One of my all-time favorites. Yeah. Anyway, Adventures in Babysitting, 1987 on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.